it feels like it's been a long wait for a very long time to get this Platinum End Chapter 2, and I've been like really excited to see what is the continuation of this story. Like ever since like the first chapter, I was insanely impressed by what we got, and I was like, yes, this is what I want from the creators of Death Note. This is what I want to see, and I gotta say, Chapter 2 as well is pretty goddamn impressive as well. So we can see Mirai, like, he seems to be taking the whole murder thing really badly, as he's just there, like, just sleeping down on the floor, just absolutely just, like, only able to have, like, an hour's sleep and all that, just dreaming of his, like, his mother and his father, and, like, you know, his kid, like, kid brother and all that. It's just, like, oh, just imagine the times of, like, you know, drawing this little picture saying, like, oh, yeah, this would be something nice and all that, it's my homework, and then just literally comes straight out, his fucking stepmom comes, like, raging out with a fucking knife through her throat and all that, saying, you killed me, you killed the entire family. Like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's ridiculous. And that's the thing, when we got from that, it's like, that's insane to even see that. And it's like, even this little angel is like, yeah, that's like a little bit crazy, to be fair, like, to get all that shit on your mind and all that. It's like, he still like has the regret, saying like, there's been 3 days, like, since that whole thing. It's like, you know what, like, you can't help that and all that. It's like, no matter what, it's not like, everyone thinks it's like your uncle that committed it, like, and, you know, from what everything is like, what the uncle's telling, it's like, oh, he was suicide and all that, and everyone seems like he has the, you know, perks on him, and it's like, you know what, he's a bit of the situation right now. It's like that. He's like, I've got this much money, and the only reason I'm even to stay here right now is because of, like, what I did to the actual guy, like, the actual guy that pays the rent. He's like, oh, yeah, please stay as long as you like, yo, it's fine, by using the hour. And it's like, that's only going to work for 33 days and stuff, so yeah, that isn't going to be a lot right now. And it's like, saying, it's like, you know what, I just want to be happy and all that. It's like, you know what, you can just take whatever you want, you can just steal and use your wings and steal, and it's like, it's going to be fine. But it's like, I got through, like, my mother always said, like, all people are born to be happy, and all people are lived to find happiness and all that. I don't want to just, like, be happy for myself. I want everyone to be happy. And it's like, and then he finally explains, oh yeah, by the way and all that, we should have the whole God conversation and all that, saying, by the way, there's like going to be like other people through the 13 that are going to go for the God seat and all that. It's like, oh, you're going to meet the other candidates probably sometime soon and all that, and you'll be able to see what exactly they have. Like, you get to see their angels and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like we're going to be getting a little bit of the introduction on this stuff. And it's like, and when he said like what he exactly wants to have, it's like, I just want, like, normal happiness, like, which, that's a hard thing to define, really. Like, what is normal happiness to people like that? Some people's normal happiness will just be, you know, getting their fucking dick sucked 24/7. Some people's normal happiness is just going to school and hanging out with their friends. Normal happiness would be someone murdering someone. So, you know, happiness, which is a thing, like, it's defined, like, you can't just put it down on one singular road. Like, people get happy for other reasons. Like, say, like, I got happy reading this chapter of Platinum End. I got happy when I heard, you know, I'm reading this other series. You know, it's very weird. Like, I get excited when it's like, you know, oh, one of my favorite series and all that had a really good chapter, or like, I got surprised as we go, you know, chatting with my friends. You know, I get happy on a lot of different reasons. If I eat a good meal, like, it's really, really weird to define happiness. But his whole thing is like, oh, I like having a place to sleep, having food to eat, going to school, working at a company, having someone there for me when I'm going to be loved, and start having a happy family with them. And it's like, that's the kind of happiness I want to have, you know, what I had before my family was taken away from me. Like, that's what I want. And he's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what you can have and all that. And it's like, you know, she says, like, that is my wish for you. I want you to be happy. And that's the thing. It's like, you should just get stuff. Like, you should just do what you want. It's like, you know what? Hey, you want money and all that? Why don't you just kill your uncle and his kids? And it's like, you know, all their money belongs to you, basically, because that is stuff. And it's like, or since they adopted you, and he's saying that I just killed them. It's like, you know, I told you I didn't want to die. It's like, but it's totally different. They killed your money, and they took all your money and all that, and they killed your family. That's fine. You should just do it. It's like, how are you reacting like this? And like, it's like, this must be a very weird way of seeing, like honestly, you think like, oh yeah, the lower below, like, you know, the Death Note demons and stuff like that. It's like, the angels are kind of like in their own way. I guess they don't know morality like that. Maybe they know they're born. It's like, you know, this is just pretty much what you want. It's like, and he's saying, like, Mirai's like, oh, basically, it's like, I should just go here and just basically just do this. It's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like, and he goes explain, oh, but you can, you know, you can just, if you pierce them with a white, like, arrow and all that, you'll die and all that, 100%, like, inflamed it, and instantly they won't suffer and all that. He's like, I don't want to murder someone that's gonna suffer. And it's like, that's kind of what happened when you had the whole love thing as well. It's like they did it in a miserable this way, you know, they're going to do it, die, just like that. Like, nothing's going to happen all that. It's like, only special class angels can have them. So we did find out that she's a special class angel, like, only certain people can do that. And when we got to see on the, like, on the news with this other guy, like, this guy, I believe he was like a comedian or something like that, and he was getting an interview and all that. I believe this guy's like Rodriguez, like talking about, like, he's like, oh, by the way, I'm like dating like 6 bitches like that, and then you get to see him like, oh, the women belong to me, yeah, I feel like I've become a god. It's like, so now's the time to keep on smiling, and it's like, he's there in a limo having sex with an entire idol group. I shit you not. Like, there, and it's graphic as well, by the way. So this guy's just doing what he wants. It turns out from what this angel has, and from what we has, like, he's like, this is the sort of angel that's like, oh, I can just use this red hour, that's just fine. And he's there just busting over all these angels. I'm like, this motherfucker, like that. It's like, he's like, yo, this is what I want. This is just kind of the greed. Like, when you get told, like, certain people are just going to do this. Like, oh, this is just the best. And you know what happens? He got his just desserts. Someone came out of there in a giant fucking armor suit that looked like something from, like, Gundam or Guyver, and just stabbed him, like, right there with the arrow. Took him out right there. And it's like, oh, he only had a crimson arrow, like that. So I'm kind of wondering what that meant exactly. It's like, oh, he only had the crimson one. Like, do you get to see that after they die and stuff? It's like, or maybe that's the reason. Like, maybe you can only use the white ones. Like, maybe they like recharge or something. Like, I'm really curious about that. I hope we get some more explanations on that whole stuff. It's like, that's very interesting to see. It's like, and definitely like how like the two are following like together. It definitely feels a lot like, you know, like Ryuk, and also as well it's like with Light. It's definitely like in that style, and I think honestly that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the opposite way, where Light was, you know, he had everything from the start, and then progressively starting to lose stuff. This is definitely one thing. Like, honestly, right now of the monthlies, this is probably one of my favorite things I'm reading right now, because it's like questioning, you know, the morality of life and stuff like that, and it's like starting to meet like these new characters and all that. And when the angel came back, which I will say, like, for one of the 13 to just be out immediately in chapter 2, I wish we had a little bit more and all that. It's like, maybe he just survived like a little bit longer and all that, but it's like, you know, hey, it's just like, hey, that's cool. And when he got out, it's like, we find out, oh yeah, Luffy, like, even though you're one of the 13 chosen heirs, don't tell me you've withdrawn already. It's like, oh, that's just the way I wanted it. I just want to get this over with already. Even so, the guy who killed this guy is really interesting though, and he's like, oh yeah, by killing 11 more, I'll like become a god. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, we see it, like, this seems like he's gonna be like one of the main antagonists and all that throughout the entire series. So it's like, oh yeah, that seems quite fucking scary actually when you think about it, because the guy's just there sitting in his pimp ass chair with a white arrow. So I'm wondering if this is a special class like angel as well, or maybe this angel only has like a white class arrow. Like, I'm really curious about that. Like, I want to know who this guy. He looks like a lot like the guy from like Firebrain, like that. So like, that's the what like he looks like. It's just like white hair, and also the guy from Codebreaker as well. So I'm really curious to see like one of the candidates. Yeah, he's a bit of the murderer. So I'm really curious to see what's exactly going to be happening. Honestly, I enjoyed this chapter. I thought it was a good solid fucking 8.5 to near 9. I thought it was a really great chapter, and, you know, a lot of stuff to question about in this one. I am curious though. I'll say the only thing that didn't get like a perfect chapter for me is like, I was a little bit disappointed that one of the 13 just immediately got taken out like that. That was the only thing about it, and just, you know, I want to know more about Nase, honestly. I really want to know more about it, and just like, please just explain more about her character and stuff like that, and like what exactly is her world like. I'm more interested in the angel world than I am with the human world. That's just how it is. But maybe we might see a little bit more as, you know, time progresses and all that. We see more of the candidates and stuff. So overall, fucking great chapter. That's all I can say about it. But that's all from me. I was thanking you very much for watching as always, and I will catch you guys next time.